Today's podcast is sponsored by Key & Kin. Are you planning a visit for family or friends? Skip the hassle and book with Key & Kin, Beaver County's top short-term rental provider. Their hand-picked Airbnb properties offer modern finishes, warm personal touches, and exceptional service. From a single night to a few weeks, unlock a perfect stay in Beaver County and beyond with Key & Kin. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Enthralled. We're excited you're here to join us today. I have Anna Betancourt here today and super excited to hear from her and her heart. I'm going to read our scripture that we have for Enthralled. Let the king be enthralled by your beauty. Honor him, for he is your Lord. Psalms 45:11. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about her passion and wellness and mental health and just kind of like your journey that you've been through. I know you spoke at church a couple weeks ago and I was so encouraging and great, and I just thought it would be so good for everyone else to hear. So
amazing.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about maybe who you are, how you grew up, and
absolutely,
which I'm sure you get that question all the time, but
yeah, for sure. Yes, I feel like the biggest thing to say is yes, I'm a pastor's daughter, so that's how I grew up. So grew up in a big faith foundation, which I'm like, I can't be more thankful for. Yeah, so grateful. Love my parents. But faith was so big, but I definitely had a journey when it came to emotions and dealing with that and discovering myself. And even with great foundations, we live in this crazy world. We can still pick up faulty beliefs and we have struggles. So
and you have 3 sisters, so I'm sure there's a lot of emotion. And you're number 3, right?
I'm number 2.
Number 2. Sorry,
right. Yeah, I'm a middle child. Yeah, there's a lot of girls in the house, right? Yeah. And they're my best friends, but that doesn't mean we always get along, right? Yeah. You have sisters.
I have 2 sisters, and we're all very, very, very different personality-wise, and just... But same thing, we always grew up in a faith-filled home, I would say, mostly. But I think that it's just, I was just telling someone the other day, it's so funny how you can grow up the same parents, same house, but you're so different.
Right.
Personality, good and bad ways, but just, so crazy.
I think that's even psychologically proven. Actually, we all have different parents. Just even them being the same people. Right?
Yeah, that's true too. And they even say as your birth order. I was listening to podcasts about that, and I was like, oh, that's so cool because I'm a middle child too, and I'm like. Even in my own kids, I notice. I'm like, oh, that makes sense, or that I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then life happens, and you're stressed. Yes. Parents are stressed by different things, different years, and right.
So, how old were you? So since you were born, were you always a pastor's kid? I don't remember how that all started.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was a youth pastor, and then he was youth pastor until I was maybe 14.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he traveled, and then we planted a church.
Yeah, and what year did you guys plant the church?
2011.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I got married 2011.
Yeah.
So how old were you then?
I was 15.
15.
Yeah.
How did that impact you as a 15-year-old?
Oh, that's a really big question. I was excited, but it was hard. I knew it was a financial sacrifice for my family.
Yeah.
I knew I was part of it, a time sacrifice. It was a lot of faith. And I struggled, even though I was excited and joyful. I was pretty stressed. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It would be exciting, but also know there's going to be a big, heavy part of it too, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a weight, there's a responsibility. My parents are busy, and then my own ability to process life and emotions was a little had a big struggle point with that time frame. Yeah.
And as a 15-year-old, I think that you'd be going through a lot of just regular emotions,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So you want to tell us a little bit about all of these emotions that you talked about that were so, I don't know which one you want to start with or how you want to start, but
I mean, while we're there, absolutely. So actually that same year, it planted in March, at the end of that year was the first time I ever had a seizure.
Okay, so right after that. Okay.
Yeah.
And how did that play out?
Yeah, it was, throughout my maybe middle school years, I would have now I see, I'd tell my mom I had deja vu.
Okay.
And now I'm oh, they were the auras, what feels like a precursor to a seizure.
Okay.
And so, yeah, there was an event in November where I was really distressed by. I saw a fist fight, and it really disturbed me. And I think after some years of not dealing with stress and suppressing emotions, that my theory is that was just the topped it all off, and my body kind of was finally like, okay, we're gonna shut down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you were 15 when the seizure, or 16
by
so
that
the next
point.
year.
Yeah, 16 by that point.
Okay. And then what happened? So did you did it happen at home?
It did, and it was crazy too, the timing. My parents were actually on like a anniversary trip in Hawaii on a cruise, so my grandmother was home, and my sister, like, thank God, had just taken first aid, like health class, so she like recognized it and was able to call the ambulance and everything.
And you said too before that a couple, or maybe after that, a couple instances happened, and you felt like God was with you when those seizures happened, right?
Yeah.
Like after that, was it maybe after those ones?
So I had seizures then from 16 to 23.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On and off, not like all the time daily, but maybe like there'd be 6 months or, and
which is even, not that you would want them closer, but when they're so sporadic.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard at that age to have my license revoked again and again.
Yes, that's so sad.
So that being the case, 3-4 times while driving, I would have them, and God like divinely intervening for the timing, like I somehow pulled over in a safe spot. I don't remember that. Or getting off a highway going 80 miles per hour, and then the seizure happening in a parking lot. You know, just like you cannot deny the goodness of God with the timing of those. Yeah. Or else I would have been driving, and we don't want to know.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. You don't want to know.
Right.
Okay. So seizure, and then at 23, what happened with that?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think throughout those years, I think there was just this, I mean, I saw it as spiritual, as a trial. But I think like naturally when you're getting it to that point in your 20s, you're in self-discovery. And I think I just started learning more about emotions, about different psychological things that fascinated me. And I think I started to realize that there was just this like lack of compassion or feeling that I was having. And I think so naturally I'm learning, and my faith is growing, and I learned so much from trusting God through that. But then I was just gaining this also like attunement to myself of like, oh, I'm stressed. And just this like, I think Geneva College did a good job of helping me be like, there's faith, but there's also reality. And like, oh,
because you can get mixed in, and I'm sure being in the faith for a long time, you've seen, or I've seen too, like, the faith part of it, but then there is hard things. There's like, hard things, sometimes you can get like, those mixed up, or like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And something like, maybe like, growing up the way I did, like the joyful aspect of faith was really highlighted, but maybe somewhere like Geneva College showed me a little bit of like Lamentations and like life is
the ones you don't want to always talk about.
Ecclesiastes and stuff. So to being like, wait, this is all in the Bible. Oh, David cried out of frustration to God, and God was like, there to handle it, and was like, I want this in my holy word. So I think I learned more too of like, wait, like, it's not just godly to have positive emotions. Like, if I have negative emotions, that's okay.
And you're going to, even we want to dwell on those or not. It's going to, and what are you going to do in those situations?
Right. So,
that's crazy. That's so good too. So what would you say, is that when you feel like these emotions, like you really dived into it? I guess at Geneva too, you could even say. Is that what you originally went to college? What did you go to college for?
No, actually. I started, I didn't even want to go to college. I went to ministry school, which actually was a season of seizures were weaved in there on my gap year after high school. And then I was doing worship, and I was like, I'll go for music. And then one of my summers, I was a counselor with Tiger Paws, which, is working with inner city kids. And I'm learning about how to help kids with behaviors. And I'm like, I like this. And I'm like, wait, and it helped me understand myself more too.
Yeah.
And being like, it's not bad to have behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I switched to sociology.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember I went to Geneva, and that sociology class for me was very interesting as well.
Right. Yeah, I think it was helpful. Like, it was a Christian school to learn that sort of subject matter. But yeah, I switched. I was like, I didn't want to do social work, but I was like, you know what? I like this community and caring for people aspect.
Yeah. Is that how you kind of got into it then? So what was your journey after that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I wasn't ready for therapy yet. I feel like I had some people suggest it, and I'm like, oh, I think at that point I was like mentoring naturally, but I was like carrying people's loads along with me.
Yeah, like so, you were, and that's what I couldn't imagine being in that field.
Right.
For anyone, you have to be able to help them, but also be able to like leave it there and not feel like you have to carry all these people's burdens.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So I think as I learned to not carry my own around and cast them to the Lord, like process them, face them, regulate them, then I was like, oh, like you do that with other people's too. So yeah, and so it went like Tiger Paws. I learned about a family intervention, and I learned a lot about trauma, and I got trained in that. It's called TBRI.
Okay.
And then through my years of working with that, I was like, you know what, I do think that I'd love to do therapy. So, yeah.
And that's what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, I just graduated. Yeah,
so exciting. Yeah. And do you do more with kids? Is that right?
I do a lot of kids.
That's what I thought you did.
Yeah, I do. I have adult clients as well.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely kind of there's a kid client that comes to that office. Usually.
It's amazing that how many more people or kids are needing therapy, and I think it's becoming so much more popular.
Yeah.
Now and hopefully, so that if you can do it early, maybe you won't have. I don't know. I mean, not that therapy's. Yeah.
Right. I know. I definitely think that too. I'm like, okay, wow, like this would have blessed me to just hear that emotions aren't bad. You know, we for kids we put them in a zone. Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm green. Oh, I'm feeling like angry or frustrated, I'm red. Or I'm just like checked out and sad, I'm blue. And so to like normalize that the colors aren't bad, it's just green feels best, you know. I do, you're right. It's I wish I didn't need to have a job to work with kids, but the reality is that it is a big need right now. So
but it's become so popular. I mean, I actually think for me, maybe I'm wrong, but I think therapy is becoming a lot more I don't want to say okay, but it's becoming a lot more like people used to think of it as like a negative thing.
Right.
Stigma, and it's such I'm like, everybody could go to counseling. Yeah. I don't care if you're 6 or if you're 80. Like, I think everybody should go. Absolutely. I don't know.
Right. Process things in stages. Yeah, I've done that personally myself. I mean, I actually didn't want it for years. And then like, oh, I needed it for that stage of life. And then you feel like you feel content. You've grown, you've progressed. Oh, and then something new comes up the process. Yeah, it is. It's helpful to just feel seen, feel heard.
Yeah. What would you say counseling, well, actually the first time I went to counseling, I was like, thought I was going, and I don't think I understood it exactly because I was going there and I wanted them to tell me like all of these things I needed to do and give me answers, but they just listen. And I remember my first session, it was like an hour and I was like, like going on and she's like, okay, well, we're going to come back. And I'm like, it's been like, I don't think I took a breath, but I just felt like I needed to keep talking, and it felt good to get all of that out. Right. But also, I didn't get any answers of like what I needed to do next. I mean, not next, you know, like. And I was like, I think they're not going to give me those answers.
Absolutely. Isn't that fascinating? Yeah, it's like I just got asked what's your advice to people who feel this? I'm like, there's a lot of layers before it's like, here's what to do, and then at the same time, counseling school 101 is like we're there to promote autonomy. Like we want you to be the expert of yourself, you know. So that is like a interesting thing to think about when it's like, okay, I could suggest something, but actually like I want you to answer for yourself.
Yeah, like they want you to kind of like talk it out, and so you like figure it out as you do it, right? Is that
right? Yeah.
I think that's the way I understand. Once I was there and like was walking through it, I'm like, okay. So that was kind of my own journey, I guess.
It is, right. No, you're right.
So yeah, do you want to talk a little bit more about the emotions that, like, all of the things that you talked about at church?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you've like heard that how I learned and where I got here.
Yeah.
But now I like, now instead of being like faith versus therapy, it's like, oh, they're
Together.
so interconnected
Yeah.
and it's beautiful and God designed that. And I love it. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I just see that like God designed this like intricate nervous system. There's a lot that's going on in our bodies when we think and feel, but like to perceive what's going on, and then our brain has thoughts and makes conclusions and gives signals, and then we're going to think and act, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like really cool to kind of think about that. And then you could bring that same thing into faith, like, oh, I behave this way, oh, because I might believe this, because life has taught me this. And so from either lens, it's like, okay, when I know the truth, it'll set me free. So yeah. It's really, really cool. I love the integration of both of them.
That's so cool. So how would you, maybe talking about, like, if you're at a place, I don't know, somebody's listening is at a place that it's like they think, kind of probably what I thought, like, oh, counseling's just for people that are, I don't know, I don't want to say weak, but kind of, I think that people feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
What are maybe some things that you could encourage them with to say it's okay to go?
Sure.
Whether it's for a kid of theirs or themselves or somebody else that they know, maybe a friend they're even trying to help.
Right.
I don't know. What are some like tools maybe?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think too, like I would first reiterate from my testimony, like I had stress and I thought not dealing with it was okay, but it didn't disappear. You know, my body it's a whole system. My body's doing something with it. And I was staying stuck, so stuck that my body wanted to shut down. So if there's always things to process and maybe some like validation to give yourself that like, oh, like I think this way because, or I always put my foot in my mouth because, you know, or I think it's sometimes counseling is like a last ditch effort, right? Yeah. But what if it's like, well, someone can help me sort out I'm just always going to be this way. We're just like, okay, if that's your personality, beautiful. But what if you're operating out of fear? Because I feel like a lot of times if we're not like feeling and facing things in our day-to-day life mindfully or from like an attuned sense of like, oh, I have this emotion. Okay. We're probably operating out of some sort of fear. Yeah. Right? So like if we're not facing it, we're probably fearing it. And that fear is probably going to look like, I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to fail. Yeah. I don't want to be isolated or abandoned. Yeah. And then we just build up our lives to try to survive, to avoid that fear. And
the longer I think you do that, right, the harder it is to like break down those walls or to figure out where that fear came from, right? Which it could be from when you were a little kid, I'm imagining.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Just like little subtle messages we pick up, whether someone intentionally wronged us or it's just the common narrative of the day or household or of the school cultural values. You know, we pick these things up and we all just want to feel safe. Yeah. And so our defense mechanisms feel safe. That's what we've learned to do. But what if we could feel safe with our walls down, with peace, safe with peace?
Yeah. There you go.
You know?
I think I was just talking about this with somebody, but like people that have never got to fully understand what it feels like to live in a peaceful, to have peace in their life, because in our world that we live in, it's so like you're always like busy and always doing something, and then you're stressed about something, and so then you just like keep pushing. I think women especially, I think are the worst maybe at this. They just like keep putting yourself lower to like, you know, I'll take care of that later. I'll do that later. I don't know. I think that's been something on my journey in the last, I don't know, few years of my life that I'm like, no, I need to take care of me so I can be a better
Right.
whatever it is for other people.
That like oxygen mask.
I always use that. Yeah, I use that one all the time.
It's a fitting. It works. Yeah.
It's so true because you're like, so many people think they have to take care of everyone.
Yeah.
Especially women, I think. But yeah, if you aren't taking care of you, you're not going to be here to take care of anyone. Is what I like got to the point where I think I realized that.
That's really good. Yeah, and it seems like a sacrifice initially, like, but it takes time. But it's interesting too, as you say that, even like thinking of parenting, like, I want my kids to have, thriving emotions and regulate well. Well, they get that from your ability to regulate.
Exactly.
Like, that's how God designed us. Our attachment, our regulation is connected. So, like, by you investing in yourself, your kids are going to feel more at peace, and like the whole system's going to flow, more peacefully, more like in wellness.
Yeah, I always say that too. I'm like, cause if I start, like, I like to go to the gym usually and start my day. And then and when I don't, or even for a season when I couldn't go to the gym, I had like shoulder surgery, and even Kevin was like, I can't wait till you go back to the gym. Because like for me, that was like, it's like, it's just something that I needed to do that relieves, like, I felt like it makes me more calm. And not everybody has their own thing. But for me, I really like to do that, or go for a walk or a run. It just like, I can't imagine when looking back now, since I've been doing this for a while, looking back, like, there's people that actually do nothing for themselves. And I couldn't imagine being there.
And
right?
And you're right. And they're doing nothing for themselves, but their self isn't just like fine with it.
And you don't realize why you're so, and not that I don't have anxious or stressful days, but it helps a lot with that, I think.
Yeah, you're right. And that's like a beautiful thing too, as you bring up like something as simple as like, exercise helps my mental health. I think when the idea of like counseling and what am I going to process and what are they going to figure out, this, like what I was already saying earlier sounds more complex, but then you get to it and you can learn like, my cup of green tea is good for my mental health. My favorite song when I'm feeling down, it's like this sometimes just it's so simple as that too.
I don't think it has to be a whole list of things that you have to change or do, but just find one thing that makes you happy.
Exactly.
And I feel like, especially for people that are in a place where they're in maybe that stressful season or hard season, find one thing and do it.
Exactly. And I like to like frame it as like, okay, those happy things give you serotonin in your brain, and that's like really steadying, and it's content, and there's a lot of good hormones in the brain. Like, I'm sure there's plenty more while you work out that are released, but like, it's also like feels really good sometimes just scroll away on social media and like release that, and then that more goes, so we'll give like a dopamine boost, which will crash, but at the same time it's like, how can I just work with myself and these systems God designed?
All the I still, there's so much up there, and how do we figure out the nervous system?
It's great. It's so fun. It's like any of your senses, which they're all over the place. Like, all right, let's channel that.
That's great. So how do you set boundaries for, because we were talking about a little bit, I'm sure your life has to be a little hard to carry all these people, I don't want to say burdens, but hearing all of these things. How do you set boundaries for yourself to like keep yourself in check when you're dealing with all these people, bad hard emotions and stuff?
I've definitely learned through trial and error for sure. Even like, let's say last night, like my sister, who like we can trust each other the most in our lives, that's both of our closest relationships in this season, wanted to process work yesterday, and I was just like, not really hearing what she was saying because I was just like full from my day already. So I was just like authentically like, I'm listening, but I also just need to like scroll a little while I listen. So I think it's like just this authenticity too of like, wait, let me just like take a walk real quick and I'll be back. Or like literally like just being like, oh, I can't reply to this person. Or sometimes it's as big as like, whoa, I needed a vacation. I needed to sit in a hot tub. Like this summer I had some really hard stuff with clients, like going to CYS just, and it was like burned me out. So, you know, maybe I didn't have the best boundaries because I reached burnout, but at the same time, like, it's like, I needed that reset. So, and I just wasn't even myself for a few weeks. So, I think it definitely is trial and error. I think anything with boundaries is like, okay, I'm not going to be perfect, but at the same time, there's a little bit of guarding your heart too. Or, I'm not really in a season where I can watch like emotional drama TV shows because like if I'm resetting with TV, it's gonna be like Gordon Ramsay like finding bacteria in his crazy kitchens. I just need more so like some basic stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're like newer on this journey, so I'm sure like you're going to figure out things that actually can fill your cup whenever you're feeling empty, because a job like that would be exhausting mentally, I would think.
Right, absolutely, yeah. And I'm thankful to work somewhere too, where it's like if I have space between clients, like I can walk around, it's beautiful, and like get some fresh air.
You're not just like stuck in a little room all day. So what would you say that mental health or like wellness means to you as like a woman of faith, and kind of like how you like you kind of were saying how they integrated. How about like for you personally, like kind of what does your day-to-day look like for you on your faith journey? Like, do you start your day usually in the morning and with scripture, or do you do it more like in the afternoon devotions, or like what would you say?
I love that. Yeah, I typically do like something in the morning, but it takes me a while to get my brain going. So nothing too deep, maybe like a devotional or maybe just some Psalms or something. Yeah, but I like to bring in that mental health element, have something warm, right? Whether it's tea or coffee. And then I think worship music is just like has to be part of my day. I've like felt so disconnected from who I am if I miss out on that too. So that'll be weaved in. I'm thankful too to have that there's the Holy Spirit that I get to communicate with throughout the day. Something at night too. Just to read the Bible, acknowledge Him.
Kind of all day long.
Yeah, you're doing I think it. I mean, if I'm gonna regulate emotions all day, might as well bring in the Lord and eat. I'm like I don't eat all day, but you know what I mean.
It's good. So, you should eat and pray and just enjoy life.
Get it all in together.
So what would you say to someone? I know we talked about maybe tools to get them to or help people understand why counseling is even a good thing, but or maybe if we have somebody that we know that is struggling with a mental health situation or wellness, what would you like as a friend or as a family member? What are some like tools maybe we could use to help them? Maybe not even just counseling, but like I mean, I know for both of us as faith, like I'm sure that for me I would always be like, hopefully just tell them about Jesus if they don't know Jesus, and like ultimately that, but maybe even maybe more like practical ways to help them or encourage them, or what helped you in those seasons when you're like stressed and really lonely, or even this season, like you said, this summer, or whatever. Absolutely. Like what are some like things that people said to you that were helpful?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I've learned to, maybe not in this crisp acronym, but now that I've formed, I think I've learned to like realize like it's important to face it, like face what life
not
has.
Just say it's okay, just like
face it. So I'll break it down in an acronym. I think that first comes with feeling, and I've heard this might help people. I think it has its nuances, but like feel it to heal it, or with faith too, it's like feel it so it's revealed so God can heal. So we want to like make sure we feel it, and then we want to like also the next part of that would be like accept that we're feeling it, like without judging ourselves. Like we don't have to judge that I got a little offended, or that I felt stress from that. Like, accept that, like, oh, that was hard.
Yeah.
Don't judge it. Just accept that it happened, and then like care for yourself. Sometimes accepting too, if I'll back it up to A, is sometimes this is really helpful too if there's big worries. It's really good with intrusive thoughts, but also just any sort of worry or any doubt. Let's say I think, what if I jump to like, oh, that person like thought I was annoying, or that person didn't like me.
Yeah.
This is really helpful, saying it's possible, it's not probable. Just giving your brain a little bit of this, like, our thoughts aren't always
correct.
They're not always real.
Yeah.
They're just thoughts. Like, a thought is in here and it doesn't exist outside of here. So just chilling out the thought a little bit. Like, okay, that possible but not probable helps you be like, not stress on yourself, not be like, how dare I think it then, or judge yourself for thinking it. So feel it, accept it, care for yourself, like we were talking about with the nervous system, and then like engage, go forward. If the thoughts were a behavior that you're like, actually, I do want to fix that, why don't you like resolve that, repair it, right? Like, if it's something you can change, engage, not from a place of fear, but like, okay, oh, I can change that.
I love that you're saying like face it, because I think in our society that so many times like we're just supposed to put on like the perfect, like we look perfect, we're acting perfect, everything's perfect, when we all know like nobody's perfect,
right?
But I love that saying to face it, because like that's one thing I think I try to teach my kids now is like, it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to have feelings that are good and bad. But don't just, because I think mostly adults, I think they just don't want to feel it. So that's why they just like shove it down. Right.
Yeah. Right. Feeling it like comes with some sort of like
it's harder to do
message.
That.
Yeah. Oh, like I failed, or I have to deal with this, or I felt hurt by that. Yeah. It's
or like they don't want to offend people.
Yeah.
I think as I'm maturing and getting older, and maybe I always say now, I don't really care what people think about me, and not like in a rude way, but just I really don't. And if you do get offended, or if this, so like I really want to be that person that goes and like talks about it, not like let's just not talk about it, because ultimately you're gonna have that a little bit hardened heart about it until you let it go. Either talk to them or talk to God or whatever you need to do.
Right.
But
because if you don't, it's not revealed though, then then it's staying in their heart. You're right. Yeah. And it's so true. Like sometimes face it is my perspective of like a regulated approach to being triggered. Like if we're not regulated, like you said, we might fawn, we might people please, and that's not doing anything to benefit us. Or we're gonna fight, flight, or freeze. So so something's happening. I would tell people, to answer your question like more crisply, crispy.
I got it.
Here's a crispy answer. Like you're going to respond no matter what. You're going to react. So, why you're going to react, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, might as well face it. Yeah.
But I think it's harder to do that.
In
the moment, it's harder,
but
when you go deep down, it's harder. But in the long term, it's better. Because but that's why people get to their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, even their later in life, but they have, and I mean, I shared this a little bit, but like about my mom, she was the perfect example, I could say, that she literally had all of these hurtful things that happened in her childhood, and she never could get past them as an adult. And so like when I look at her, I'm like, she would have been the perfect person to just go to counseling and let some of those emotions go. And maybe I know that's why I became a lot more passionate about it, because I've just been like, I'm not going to be that way. I don't want to like have all this like baggage inside me. I'll just talk about it. And some people won't want to listen or care, but that's what I'm going to do.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I don't want to be that whenever, or at any age really, or my kids to see that that's okay to do.
Sure.
It's okay to be upset, but you have to talk about it. I don't care if you want to or not.
We're going to face this. And,
especially boys, because, I mean, maybe you see that, I don't know, in your field, but naturally, I think men or boys don't talk about things near as much as girls, usually. Girls are more I don't know. Mm-hmm. They'll tell you about their day or just like little things, but
yeah, there's like a wiring, what girls versus boys. But there's also been messages where like, oh, guys don't deal with that, or what? So you like intervening to be like, if you're feeling it, if it's reality, that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, well, this has been great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you have on your heart that you want to talk about? I think this has been good.
Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess too, one question that just came in my mind, I guess since I have kids and I know you deal with kids, like what age do you think is, I know this is probably a hard, and there's not a right or wrong, but naturally, like what ages do you think most kids would start with counseling?
Ooh,
is that really young? Is there kids that come that are really young?
There are some, yeah. And I think like if it's younger, let's say even 10 and younger, even though I do see those individually, it might be like more like a, let's do family. Okay. Let's get our like family on this same approach and language, which is probably more beneficial, even though it's not limited to that. It's case by case. But yeah, for sure. I think, at some point in that like development of where like I'm educating, I'm learning about myself, independent social skills, maybe that like, I just have the number 8 in my head. 8 sounds good.
Yeah. I think that sounds about. I mean, my oldest is 12, and it's just been interesting to see, even as he's going. I don't know. Someone's like, "Oh, he's almost a teenager." I'm like, "Yes, I guess that sounds crazy," but yeah. And just like the roller coaster of emotions that I've watched him kind of go through, like. Or my 10-year-old when he was like just getting all worked up about the smallest things, and I was like, oh, I remember this when Logan did this when he was 10. It's just crazy to like how their emotions are always in up and down, and I guess it'll be like that for a while. I don't know. I can't remember that far.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm steady. I'm here for it.
But it's okay. It's just guiding them along, I think. But I thought that might be a question that a lot of parents have, that it's never too young, I would imagine.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, if it's like early intervention, you need some practical skills or some like, maybe some adjustments. And I mean, parents, we like, get the toolkit you get, and then you can add to it and trade some out, and it's like and then no matter what, like no one human's perfect, so
and they're all different, all of us.
Absolutely.
Well, to end it here, I have a fun question for you that I like to ask people. So if you had one day all to yourself with like no money, that you could spend whatever you want. I guess I shouldn't say that you had no money. You had money are not constraints, like, or time constraints or anything. What would you do with your day?
Oh my goodness. I'm a big, I like nature, and I like history. Okay. Probably get on a plane to Europe and go to cottage, countryside.
Would you want to do this by yourself or with somebody?
I think for a few, if you said one day, I think like
I guess
a little reset, a little quality.
So maybe by yourself. Time. But Europe going for the day would be hard.
That is hard.
You might have to make it a trip.
Right. I'll take people too.
Maybe have a day by yourself and then have a couple of days with people. That would probably be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Well, this is great. Well, I just want to thank all of you guys for joining us today, and we're just thankful for Anna and her heart, and I hope you learned a lot like I did, and we'll see you next time.